if you are at home, we forgot to start recording right away. The answer to number 1 was 40. The answer to number 3 was 3.5. We did 4 together, even though that wasn't homework. The answer to number 5 was 8. And before we even got down to here, we needed to make sure that you are always writing it and showing that you are finding the cross product to find the letter. Then for number 4, we're making sure that when you have story problems that you're writing like cost per egg. Number 5 is the Y, which is our yellow, over the total. Okay? For 6, we had to make sure that we are writing now that we have a constant equals Y over X, and this is our linear equation. Y equals K times X. K is constant. So then we found miles per gallon. This was 476 miles per 14 gallons. We put that in our calculator and got 34 miles per gallon. That's my constant. Then we made an equation with the constant. We just go here, and it's Y equals 34 times X. We are traveling the 578 miles. Miles is on top. Miles is my Y. So I put miles in for my Y, which would be 578 equals 34X. To solve for X, we divide by 34 on both sides, and then X would equal 17 gallons. Number 7, again, we started with cost per pound. Mrs. Baker paid $200.50 for 5 pounds of bananas. So cost, $2.50 for 5 pounds. We found the 50 cents is my constant. We put it into an equation. Y equals 50 cents times X. You don't have an equation if you don't have a letter. Then we did Y, and then we said there was 8 pounds of bananas. So we did Y equals 50 cents times 8. Put that in your calculator, and it is 4. We just started on 8 when somebody reminded me to record. So 8, a woman who is 64 inches tall has a shoulder width of 16 inches. Write an equation, circle that word, relating the height to the width. Height to width. So I know I'm going to do height to width. Height to width. Okay? Equals, now this is where we're at. What's the height of the woman? 64. And the width of her shoulders are? 16. So it's 64 inches to 16 inches. Find the height of a woman whose shoulder width is 18.5. So does the 18.5 go on top or the bottom?
Bottom.
Why on the bottom?
Because it
Because
says
the other what's it called? Width.
Okay.
Because it says
Now,
shoulder width.
This is how we would solve the problem, right?
Yes.
Okay, but hold on. That's how you guys are normally starting it, but what does it say that we need to find?
Equation.
An equation. So if we're finding an equation, you have to have a constant, which is your Y over your X. You have to have then Y equals K times X. So I'm going to come up here, I'm going to do that again. It's 64 to 16. How do I figure that as a constant? Just divide. You're finding the unit. So 64 divided by 16. 4.
Yes.
So my constant is 4. So now my equation is going to say Y equals 4 times X. What is my X? Well, this is Y, this is X. X is my
16.
width.
Oh, yeah.
So it says, for the height of a woman who is shoulder width. So do I know is this my X or is this my Y? X. So I go back to my problem. Y equals 4 times, my X is 18.5. Put that in a calculator. I have 4 times 18.5 equals 74. Now if I go up to this original problem, I better come over here to show some more room. solve this?
Cross product.
Cross products. So I have 16x equals 64 times 18.5. So 16x equals, I need to put in my calculator, 64 times 18.5, which is 1,184. To solve for x, I divide by 16. So the 16s cancel out, so I'm left with x. So I have it up on my calculator, divide by 16, and my answer is still 74. So could I solve it either way? Yeah, I'm still getting 74 for my answer. However, you need to make sure that you had your equation. You need to make sure that we start all the time with the label. And that it's y over x. If you were to do number 9. At an amusement park, 360 visitors. Rode the roller coaster in 3 hours. So 360 visitors in, circling the in, 3 hours. So I'm going to write my label first. What's my y and then what's my x? What's listed first? Visitors, because it says visitors in 3 hours. So it's visitors per what? Hour. So now let's set it up. How many visitors?
360.
360
3 hours.
in how many hours?
3 hours.
So let's find that constant. So K equals, and so my constant is, what's 360 divided by 3? What? So it's 120. Visitors, or I'm just gonna put a B, per hour. It says write and solve a proportion to find the number of 6. So do I have to write it in the equation? No, but I want you to.
Yes.
How am I gonna write the equation? Y equals 120
times x.
times x.
And then y.
I had
Because
120.
Y is my visitors,
Yep.
X is my hours. But let's write it as a, proportion. And I'm gonna rewrite 360 over 3 equals. Now I wanna know how many will ride the roller coaster in 7 hours. So is my 7 gonna go on the top or the bottom? Because it's out, this is visitors, this is hours to hours. So my X is on top. Cross multiply. 3x equals 360 times 7. So I'm running out of room. So I have 3x equals, what's 360 times 7? 2,520. Divide by 3, so x is going to equal 840, so x equals 840. How many of you got 840 as your answer?
I did, but I did. Yeah, I did it, but I didn't do the equation part.
Did you do it this way?
Yeah. That's how I did it.
Nope.
Did you set it up like this? Y equals 120 times 7?
Yeah. Yeah,
Because that's, you use the equation. Just be careful on what, you need to be able to know how to do both ways. So if you don't have it, just make sure you have it both ways.
If we have 840 visitors per hour, is that still right?
Number 10, you do not have to do, we're gonna do A and D.
D or B?
D.
Okay.
So use the table to write a proportion relating the weights on 2 planets, then find the missing weight around the nearest 10. So we've got Earth to Venus. So I need to come over to the chart and I need to find Earth to Venus. Earth weight is 120, because I'm gonna do Earth to Venus. So I've got 120 to Venus in the chart is 109.2. Equals, now I'm gonna use this over here. Earth is how many pounds?
9.
So does that go on the top or the bottom?
Top.
And what goes on the bottom?
X. Cross product.
Cross product. So now I have 120, X equals 109.2 times 90. So now I have 120, X equals, I don't know, 109.2 times 90, 9,828. Divide by 120, divide by 120.
What was it?
9,828.
So X equals 81.9.
And that's in the top. Now we have D.
So then we'll do D. You have to start with the chart first, Venus to Mercury. So I'm gonna put Venus to Mercury. Venus is 109.2, Mercury is 45.6. Then I know Venus is 115, so does that go on the top or the bottom? Top. And X goes on the bottom. Cross multiply,
Product.
which is the cross product.
You said you were gonna start saying it that way, so.
$45.6 times 115 is 5,244 equals 109.2x. Divide by 109.2. Divide by 109.2. On my calculator, divide by 109.2. And I get x equals 48.0219, and it keeps going. Just round to the hundredth place. So 48.02.
X equals.
Oh, this actually tells us to round to the nearest tenth. So it'd be 48. 11 you do not have to do.
You're off.
I was not off. A powdered drink mix calls for a ratio of powder to water. So start with your label. Powder to water. And then my ratio is 1 to 8, so I'm gonna write 1 to 8. If there are 32 cups of powder, so where does the 32 go?
Top.
How many total cups of water are needed? What goes on the bottom?
X. Cross product.
Cross product. So X equals 8 times 32. 32 times 8 in my calculator. X equals 256. $13 is exactly like what we've been doing on our bell work. And so you need to have it right now. Find the cross product. 5 times quantity, x minus 4 equals 10 times 7. Distributive property, 5x minus 20 equals 70. Draw my line, box my 5x up. Add 20. 5x, because these cancel each other out, equals 90. Divide by 5. X equals 18. And 15. A rectangle has an area of 36 square units. As the length and the width change, what do you know about their product? So we have 3 and 12, the product is 36. 6 and 6, the product is 36. 9 and 4, the product is 36. Does something change on the product?
No.
So what you would just say is that the product stays the same.
I just put because it all equals up to 36.
Okay. Then it says, is the length proportional to the width? So I need to have length to width. So length is 3, width is 12. That reduces to 1/4. Length is 6, width is 6, that reduces to 1. Length is 9, width is 4, and I would just say it like that. Do the reduced fractions equal each other?
No.
So it is
Not proportional.
not proportional. Alright, for your homework, I want you to look at the next page, which starts with the extra practice, and that's why today's lesson, I was going over problems you didn't have to do, to give you review, because that's what we're doing again today. You are going to do 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, turn page, 25. 25 is the only one you have to do on the back side. Turn the page back over. I'm going to help you with number 19. It says, for every person who has the flu, there are 6 people who only have flu-like symptoms. Okay. So, bless you. One person, okay, has the flu. 6 people only have the symptoms. So one person has the flu, 6 people have the symptoms, okay? If a doctor sees 40 patients, determine approximately how many patients would you expect to only have flu-like symptoms. Alright, we first have to set up a proportion though with the people with flu-like symptoms. How many people have flu-like symptoms?
6.
So we're gonna do symptoms out of the, and I'm actually gonna write this out. Symptoms out of the total. So how many kids had, or how many people had symptoms?
6.
What was that a total out of?
4.
No, and that's where I knew that you, it's from the original, 1 and 6.
7.
So it's 6 out of 7 people is my ratio. This is like example number 2, it was like question number 5 from yesterday. So 6 out of 7 people have flu-like symptoms. Now we want to know how many people would have flu-like symptoms out of 14 patients. So does the 40 go on the top or the bottom? Right, because the 40 is the number of patients. So what do I put above the,
X.
and then you guys should know how to solve that. 20 is the same way as 19. Because we added this to equal 7, which is my total number. Any questions about what you guys are to be working on? Katie?
What numbers are we doing on the first page?
On the front?
Yeah.
All of them on the front page, well, except for 16, because it's done for you.
Okay.
And then just 25 on the back.
Okay.
You may listen to music, if you would like to listen to music.